so if it's real or fake. Golden Greek told us the giant goon Dickon, El Toro, the Grunt Brothers too. The wild Samoans got something crazy going. They're gonna be going after you. Wrestling tonight. Everything is bigger than life. Wrestling tonight. Rock and roll and wrestling tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wrestling Tonight. I am your host, your hardcore host, humble hardcore host.
Yeah, got to get that right.
Yeah, Mad Dog Butch. And joining me as always, the unofficial third member of Techno Team 2000, Brace Beemer.
Yeah.
Now, it's been a little while. Before we get to our special guest this week, I want to mention something, and that is the passing of a friend of ours that we did a radio show with years and years and years ago, the Pile Driver Show on WPON 1460. And that is the Professor Stone, a.k.a. Tom Kinney. So R.I.P. Tom. We had actually been in negotiations with him to bring him onto the show, but he had some major health issues, and his health just declined very rapidly. So
yeah, he was a great guy. He was fun to be on the radio with. Just an all around good person, you know.
Yeah,
feel sorry for his family and everybody else that knew him. Great guy. Yeah. May he rest in peace.
Yep, he was. Now, one other thing that I've been wanting to do because of COVID, I realized that actually, whatever reason. Well, I mean, I guess it was because I was going to present you with a gift for Christmas, and because of COVID, I didn't get a chance to. Although we've done some shows, so I could have, but I just kept forgetting about it. But anyway, without further ado, this is just a little something, but when we did our toy show, you mentioned that your favorite toy line of all time was the AWA, at least your favorite wrestling toy line of all time was the AWA Remco wrestling figures. So lately, a lot of companies have been putting out similar figures. They actually have a whole line of WWE style Master of the Universe figures, and Master of the Universe figures are back. But so just to add to your AWA roster,
oh, that's great.
One of your favorite DC characters as well, Aquaman, the Primal Age, and he can win your AWA world title from Greg Gagne.
Oh, you didn't have to do that. That's cool.
No problem. I've been meaning to get you something, but I just kept forgetting about it.
Huh.
But
funny how things just come back into a circle, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Huh. Everything old is new again, or whatever they say.
Yeah.
So
is that just because people are more apt to look back in the past nowadays, or is it because there isn't anything else new coming out that's really
I don't know. I mean, it just seems like everything gets recycled, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just because, I mean, they've been doing remakes of the Master of the Universe stuff for years and years and years, but now it's like the cheaper figures, they're going back to the cheaper figures, or not necessarily cheaper figures, but the figures that don't have all the articulation, they're going back to the 5 points of articulation, like those, and even the Star Wars figures are those now too. So anyway, but
cool. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no
That's
problem.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, no problem. So let's get to our guest, our special guest this week. Hold on 1 second here.
Sweet new technology. Are we the guinea pigs again this week?
And it is, well, yeah, I mean, we're dealing with a little bit of technology, but either way, our guest this week is none other than Dennis Edwards from Imperial Wrestling Entertainment. Welcome, Dennis. How are you today?
Doing well.
All right, fantastic. Now, I had you down as co-promoter of IWE. Is that accurate, or is it more of do you guys work in more of like a booking committee type deal, or no?
It started out me and John owned the company, and as things progressed,
John, just to be clear for people that don't know, John Campbell, right?
yes,
Okay.
and as things progressed, it got a little much for both of us to handle.
Okay.
So right now we got a committee of 5 people, me and John and 3 others that pretty much vote on any major decisions.
Oh, okay, great. Hopefully it goes better than WCW when they had their booking committees.
Well, so far it has.
Right off the bat, and we'll get to it again towards the end. The reason that I wanted to have you on this week is because this weekend there's a special show. I mean, first of all, I don't think you guys have done a show in months, as most wrestling promotions because of the COVID pandemic. But a friend of all of
the Chinese
ours,
virus.
Yeah, but a friend of all of ours passed away. Pure Fury, Jeff Klaus. So
yeah,
you guys
horrible.
So well, we all will be involved in the tribute show that you guys are going to be doing this Saturday. If you could speak about that real quick.
Well, it was made a decision with Jeff Klaus's brother Jason that we're going to have we're going to merge our companies for one show. So this show will have wrestlers from MWO and IWE wrestling. And one of the highlights of the show will be a Jeff Klaus Memorial Battle Royal, where, I heard there was going to be some special entrants in it too. So,
yeah, I've heard that as well. I have not seen it yet, but yeah, I heard a little rumor that. Well, I'll just say it. I will be there. Brace Beemer will once again be donning the referee stripes.
Yeah.
And we will be there. Where is the show, and what time, and anybody that wants to go see it, what do they need to know?
The show is at Artesia Youth Park in Houghton Lake. I don't have the address memorized, but it's on Loxley Road, Loxley.
Okay.
In Houghton Lake. It's really easy to find.
Okay.
Is there a website that has that information, like the IWE website or maybe the MWO one?
You can find it on the IWE website, and also I believe I've shared the flyer for it on my personal Facebook page.
Okay. All right. We'll talk a little bit more about it towards the end of the show, but before we get to that, I just wanted to kind of get your personal background as far as wrestling goes. I mean, this is what we normally do on here. So the first question I normally ask everyone is, how did you get into pro wrestling in the first place? If there's a specific match that sticks out in your head or anything.
Oh, I used to watch wrestling with my grandfather. I'll be dating myself, but it's back before the Sheik and the Iron Sheik and Sergeant Slaughter were feuding.
Nice.
So it was pretty far matches. Back there. Yeah. Yeah, so, they were bloodbaths, weren't they?
Yeah, they sure were.
So it was around that time, or you're saying it was actually before?
That's when I started getting into wrestling, and my first wrestling event, ironically, was WrestleMania 3.
The first one that you actually attended, or the first one that you watched?
The first one I actually attended.
Oh, okay, yeah, we were there as well.
Yeah.
Gene or Brace had better seats than I did. I was in the nosebleeds, but
I was too, way up there.
Hey, that place, there were all nosebleeds in that one, man. They look like little ants in the ring,
So you don't.
When I started into actual being part of the business, it was when I met John Campbell we started talking and found we had a lot of things in common, such as horror movies, the music we listened to, wrestling. We both had all that in common, and he convinced me to come check out one of the shows and where he was training.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I want to go start earlier than that though, before you get to that.
Oh,
Or
okay.
did you didn't meet him when you were a kid, did you?
No,
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'll get to all that, but going back though, do you happen to remember a specific match that hooked you that you saw, or not?
the one that hooked me the most, and this guy still is one of my favorite wrestlers to this day, is the $1 Million Man. His run with buying the wrestling belt and having a goon get it for him, that really affected me. It kind of, you might notice, it kind of tailored how I approach wrestling.
Right, exactly.
He was a classic, wasn't he? Probably one of the greatest gimmicks of all time, one of the greatest characters, $1 Million Man.
So would you say that he is your favorite wrestler of all time?
Yes.
Okay. And you already said that was your first live event was WrestleMania 3. So was WWE or WWF at the time, was that your favorite promotion back then, or did you watch all the other promotions as well?
Honestly, I started out with WWE, but honestly, I started swaying more towards WCW for a while, for a good long while.
But after they became WCW, or were they still NWA at the time?
They became WCW by the time I started watching them.
Okay.
I could watch NWA when it was NWA, but I could hardly get the reception. You remember how TVs were back then?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So, do you have? Well, in your mind, I mean, I just kind of wanted to get into your mind as far as your booking philosophy would go. Do you have a favorite angle from that era, or would it be the Andre the Giant, Ted DiBiase thing?
Yes.
So you're talking.
I think everything about that angle was played to perfection.
You're talking about the twin referees and all.
Every single thing about that.
That was the greatest finish of all time, with the twin referees. I mean, we knew everything apparently, and we didn't even expect that. I mean, wasn't that phenomenal?
Yeah, that was. I mean, we knew the Hebners from NWA wrestling, but still, I mean, it was pretty funny. I mean, as a matter of fact, I was grounded. I believe that was the time I was grounded off wrestling, and so I watched it over at his house, which I was grounded off wrestling. I could still go to my friend's house, but I didn't think that was the time because it was such a big angle. As soon as my dad picked me up from his house, he was like, "Oh, how'd you like that wrestling?" I watched the whole thing. He even was entertained by it, and he didn't even really care about wrestling too much, So in your opinion, besides yourself, who would you say would be the greatest promoter or / booker of all time?
That's a rough one. Part of me is tempted to say Eric Bischoff, just because he did what no one thought he was going to do, and he managed to surpass WDB for a time. WWF back then. I mean,
yeah.
Who would have expected that?
Right, exactly. Well,
yeah, they kind of forced WWF into a bunch of changes at the time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was part of WWF back in some of their highlight days too.
Yeah.
But another guy that's a booking genius, even though he gets torn down a lot because he kind of bankrupts companies, is Paul Heyman.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely would agree with that. I mean, we got to see. Well, first going back to Bischoff before I get to Heyman. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he Yeah, you could say what you want about the NWO angle and everything, but just to compete, and we had mentioned this on the show before, but I specifically remember of us talking on the phone when they first announced Nitro and that they were going to go head to head with WWF, and we were just like, "Oh my God, they're going to get destroyed."
Yeah.
And it didn't happen for a while. I mean, but like Brace said, it finally forced them to change their product. I mean, who knows if that wouldn't have happened, we'd still have the Godwins against Men on a Mission or something. But at least that style of wrestling. But yeah, as far as Heyman goes, we were also lucky enough to see Continental Wrestling when Paul Heyman and Eddie Gilbert actually had the book, and it was definitely a precursor to what we would see later in ECW.
Yeah, they just took Memphis and moved it to Pensacola, or Alabama. That's all it was.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely agree with you about Heyman, and it seems like they always give him the runaround or something. They'll be like, okay, we'll let you be the head writer of this, and then a little while later, no, I don't know. WWE always seems to jerk them around a bit, but
they got a habit of doing that to a lot of people, though. If you followed history with them.
Yeah, that's true. And they and doing what he did with, I mean, looking back before they started getting some of the bigger talent in ECW. I mean, just was starting out as Eastern Championship Wrestling, just what he was able to do with the minimal amount of talent that he had, and to build it up into what it was, like the counterculture wrestling, to the point where WWF had to take notice. Well, I mean, nowadays they say that he was on the payroll the whole time, but either way, just as far as the wrestling goes, the stuff that they did in the original ECW, yeah, I definitely give Heyman a nod there. Now, are those two guys that you would say maybe you pattern your booking style after then, or not necessarily?
Honestly, my booking style is pretty much I do what I think will work with the crowd.
Okay.
I'm not a huge planner. Like, I don't book 8 months in advance like some companies.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the indie scene, you don't know who's going to be able to be there next show because everyone's got to work and make a living other than wrestling.
Right.
Myself included. So I kind of
book on the fly,
get the show set up and plan it show to show.
Okay.
Like, who's going to be here?
Right.
What's going to work to advance the plots we have going on right now? So.
Right.
And then even if I'm in a match, if I ever wrestle, but I would plan my match. I would pretty much plan a start for it and plan how it's going to end, and play to the crowd in the middle part. So, like some people plan like we're gonna do this move, this move, this move, this move, this move. That's not how I operate.
So I mean, most of what you do is like the old school way, where you would still call it in the ring, or
yes.
Okay.
Well, here's a harder question for you about that style of booking. So, are you how do you book that day or that week as soon as you find out, who's coming, who's showing up? How do you book the show to get somebody to come back the next time?
That we got set storylines going on.
Oh, okay. So
if someone misses the show, like say I was in the storyline with Butch, and Butch couldn't make it the next show.
Yeah.
I would cut a promo online calling him a coward, a wimp.
Yeah.
He's afraid to face me, so he's not showing up. And then someone else might come out to defend his honor that he's friends with.
Okay, I gotcha.
Something like that. Or, I might just cut a simple promo insulting him.
Yeah.
And call, it just, you always got to keep the stories going. I mean, wrestling's good and all, but people want a story. They want to see why they're fighting. It's not like the old days where you can just throw two guys in the ring and they'd be like, "Oh, look at all those moves." The public's not like that anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Now, as far as you wrestling, did you how did you start? I mean, going way back. I mean, did you have like a backyard promotion or anything, or did you wrestle in the backyard or
Nope.
anything with your friends or anything?
No, I did not.
So
actually, I didn't get into the actual business of wrestling like that until I was probably, I think I might have been in my 30s before I started wrestling.
So how'd you get into the business?
John Campbell. I happened to meet him just by happenstance. We met and had a lot in common, and he convinced me to come to some of the shows he was working at and meet his trainer. I went in for a tryout. They beat the living heck out of me for 4 hours. And then I don't think they thought I was going to come back, but I did. So.
Okay.
Who was it that was training at that time?
Eric Freedom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a good guy too.
I think they beg to differ with that, but we don't have to get into that.
Oh, really?
I don't say anything bad about anyone.
Just that. That's just, you know, that I've just kind of gathered that over the years, but.
Oh yeah, I could see why. I'm smelling what you're cooking now.
So were you and John? Did you guys live in the same town then, and you didn't know it until you met?
Actually, nope. It was I moved up here with my ex-wife, and I just happened to be working up here, and he came down here to shop because he lived in Harrison and I was living in Mount Pleasant, and we just, like I said, it was just happened. I never had planned to be in wrestling business.
So
I always just planned to watch it on TV.
So we met you when you first debuted for the MWO. Who did you wrestle for before that?
I wrestled a couple of shows up at Universal Wrestling Enterprises, Eric Freedom's company, and I also worked for a place called Total Extreme Wrestling, but they're not ran anymore.
Okay, so you just got into MWO with John.
Yeah, John just convinced me to come down, and then, so I'm trying to remember who it was. One of the guys took me in the ring and seen if I could do anything. And he's like, "Oh, you're clear. Let's put you in a match."
Into the frying pan, huh?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So who would you consider your mentor? I mean, did you have most people just don't have one mentor, but were there like a couple guys, and I'm assuming one's John because you've talked about him with great relevancy so far. The guys that kind of pointed you in the right direction, helped you along, maybe help set the mindset and your philosophy, etc.
Really, mostly John.
Oh, okay.
Most other people didn't want to give an old man a chance. I think most people figured I'd wash out after like a couple of weeks or a month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you mentioned Ted DiBiase as being one of your favorite wrestlers, but as far as in the ring, is there anybody that you tried to like pattern yourself after?
Me? Get in the ring? Never.
Okay.
Well, I guess all right, Bobby Heenan, because he never got in the ring unless he was forced to.
Right. And what a great worker he was.
Yeah, no good. Hey, that's a good guy to pattern yourself after, that's for sure.
Yeah, he was Bobby Heenan was a classic, all-time classic. I mean, that guy could do everything. I was just watching the match the other day when they first started doing the Brian Pillman loose cannon thing. And Pillman like grabbed him, got behind him and grabbed him, and the Brain dropped an F-bomb on live TV because he had had some surgeries and he didn't know that Pillman was going to do that. and so it shocked him. But watching it now, I mean, it was pretty fun. I mean, I remember seeing that at the time, and I just figured it was part of the show. But now it didn't look like it. I mean, he didn't actually started walking towards the back, and then Pillman was trying to apologize to him. I mean, but yeah, he was great.
How long did it take for you to feel comfortable in the business? You know, you mentioned starting out in UWE and then meeting John, the MWO. How long did it take? Was it like a couple year thing? Did you kind of know right away, or how'd you stand on that?
Oh, I never let myself get fully comfortable.
Yeah.
The wrestling business, especially on the indie scene, it's ruthless.
Yeah. And you're always learning.
It really is. I've had so many knives thrown in my back, it's unbelievable. and I'm just being honest. I'm not saying names. I'm not going to chop anyone down. But most people will advance themselves over you without even a hesitation.
Yeah. Well, let me reword it. How, instead of comfortable, maybe until you kind of got it, where you were comfortable making a decision, as like a booker or somebody, getting talent or whatnot.
I always got to make decisions. I just go with it. If I don't think it's the right thing, I'll argue against it. But we got a committee, so I might be wrong. If I get outvoted, we'll go with it and see what happens. Although I will say, I told you if it ends up terrible.
Yeah.
So what was kind of the the genesis of you guys deciding to start your own promotion in IWE?
Really, me and John was discouraged with the business at the time. Once again, like I said, the knife throwing tactics.
Right.
We were both pretty discouraged. Why do we even bother with this?
Yeah, that's like a sport in itself.
Why do we bother? What's the point? And then I just looked at him and said, why don't we just start our own business?
Okay.
And that's really, and then it just took off from there. I wouldn't have imagined it to be like it is now,
Yeah. I mean, you guys, did John or did both of you guys have to invest in a ring, or did somebody already have the ring, or did you guys buy
ring.
one? Okay.
John bought a small ring for when we did the studio.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then John got a ring from another wrestler that was getting rid of it later, so now we got the bigger ring.
Okay.
And I got the business license.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys still have that small ring too, or did you get rid of it?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay. Do you still use that at
all?
We
had it set up. We had it set up with one of our wrestlers' house as a training ring.
Okay.
But right now, I think it's just in John's mother's garage.
Okay. Now, it seems to me almost immediately, and I could be wrong, but you guys got on some pretty major platforms, like Roku. They had that wrestling channel, and I believe you guys were on some other stuff too. How did that excuse me, how did that come about?
That's all John.
Okay.
John handles all that stuff.
Okay. So besides Roku, what were some of the other platforms that you guys were on?
I believe he had us on High Spots.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that.
And I believe there's a couple others, and then a bunch of public access channels, but I'm not sure if we're on them anymore. We were probably in I think 25 states or more last I knew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if he's still sending that into them.
Oh, okay. Are you still on the Roku then? I had a Roku at one time. I don't have it anymore. So,
as far as I know, we are.
Okay. All right.
Hey, what differentiates you guys, your brand of wrestling from, say, some of the others out there? Even compared to what's on TV, you have the 3 or 4 major, the ones that are on cable. How do you guys not compare, but what's different about you guys than, WWE, for example, or AEW?
Well, on camera, not a whole heck of a lot because we go out there, we wrestle, we tell stories, pretty much.
Yeah.
General wrestling. But backstage is the difference. I don't approach this as a wrestling business. I consider all my wrestlers family. It's a wrestling family.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
so
nice.
You know, it's not, I'm going to put you out there, I'm going to make money off you. I'm going to put you out there, get you some exposure and see how far it can take you.
Yeah.
And if someone moves on to better things, good. We helped you advance.
Nice.
If they stick with us forever, you're welcome to stay. Your family. Unfortunately, as I found, a lot of people don't think that when they come work for us.
So Brace mentions the big two, but let's say the quote big two right now. But let's say, let's say somebody that's not really familiar with local wrestling. What differentiates the IWE from the other local promotions or Michigan independent promotions?
Well, I will not trash anyone else's company to get mine ahead. I know people have said stuff about us in the past. I know people have tried to take over our territory in the past, which, it's not territory like back in the old days, but where we book, other people have tried to move into buildings close to us to steal our thunder. None of them have ever managed to even get one show off since we started there.
Nice.
So, so we show the crowd that we don't just care about running a wrestling show. We want our crowd to be happy and go home happy. We try to keep the shows family friendly so the whole family can come. You're not going to see me go out there and swear and cuss someone's mother up and down the aisle.
Yeah.
You're not going to see me trying to hammer someone's foot to the floor. Oh, that's a good idea. That would keep them from attacking me.
Right.
Just it's simple differences that mean more to me than it might mean to other people. But the whole family aura that's the reason we started this. We wanted to get away from all the crap.
And that's good because there's a lot out there that isn't really family oriented. There's still, marketing, promoting wrestling to like the same group of crowd or the same group, like the more hardcore. And, it's nice because MWO is kind of like you guys,
Yes.
Yeah.
So I
have a list of all the things we're on.
All right.
Okay.
All our shows are on YouTube, which is High Spots Network, Power Slam TV, and Title Match Wrestling Network.
Okay, great. Now, speaking of the crowd, it seems like you guys, you can tell me more, but it seemed to me as somebody that would just catch your shows in the beginning on the Roku, it seemed like you guys had a pretty solid fan base right from the get-go. Obviously, you can only fit, we know it being here at ONTV, you can only fit so many people into a studio. But when you guys kind of left the studio, but even right from the get-go in the studio, it seemed like you guys had a pretty rabid fan base.
It more than doubled when we moved up to Houghton Lake and had the room for it.
Okay.
More than doubled.
So do you think the fans were already there, but just because there was the limited space?
Yes, because at the studio, we had people standing in lines outside the door.
Okay.
Because they couldn't get in, they'd stand in the hall and try to peek in to see what they could see.
What do you attribute to that? It was like almost right off the bat, you guys were drawing like a crowd and the fans were like into it immediately. You guys, I've seen some shows where it seems like your guys' crowd is always hot.
Well, I'm going to give you, it's our talent. They want to be there and they want to put on the best show they can. We got some up and coming guys that I predict great things for in the future. like Bam Grizzly.
Yes.
That kid's got a lot of heart.
Seen him.
That kid carries a notebook and jots down ideas for what to improve on and what he needs to learn.
Oh, that's
JJ does the same thing. You know, they want to learn, they listen, and they move forward instead of getting. A lot of people get an ego. We've had this happen.
Yeah.
You try to tell them, you know, this would work better for what you're trying to do. Oh no, I know better. You're just trying to hold me down. You hold me back. I don't ever want to hold anyone back.
Right.
Why would I want to do that? That would hurt my company.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to hold you back so you look like crap. So my match sucks and my show's worse. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But who's like in your opinion, who's the best in the ring for IWE? Maybe, you know, if you can't do one, just a couple. If I'm coming to an IWE show or I'm going to check you out on the internets, you know, who's the guy that you say, this is IWE?
One that is IWE. I probably should pick a face for that, huh?
Not necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, somebody, you know, because a lot of people like the heels and it's a little more gray today, but I do like having the face and the heels. But just like who are like, you know, like a couple of the guys that are just like really good at what they do.
My personal favorite is Mike Goodman.
Yeah. Mine too.
I like that guy a lot.
Mine too. You know, I mean, he is definitely a close personal friend of mine, and he helped launch my interview segment here on the MWO shows here at the studio. My very first guest. And I've had him on the Doghouse segment a few times.
Yeah, he's a wonderful talent.
Always entertaining, always fantastic.
Well,
I can't wait to see him this Saturday, actually.
But back to the wrestlers. There are so many, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I'll run off a short list of people that come to my mindset when I'm thinking IWE. And who is really progressed and come at leaps and bounds from when I first seen them. First of all, Bam, who I've already mentioned.
Yes.
I'd like JJ Hughes.
Yeah, another great piece of talent there.
When I started wrestling, he was just a little skinny kid of nothing, and now look at him.
Right.
You saw.
Yeah.
We did see, and as a matter of fact, we even knew him before that because his uncle used to wrestle with us back in our backyard league years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
So we've known JJ for a while.
Yeah, I saw him as a little kid refereeing too, you know?
Yeah.
There's also Ben Brody. Fun fact, he trained with Lance Storm.
Really?
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
Okay.
There's Jacob Braun. He's a good talent. He gets out there all over the place.
Yeah. Another former guest of the Doghouse, Jacob Braun. Yes.
You know, John, of course. I mean, without John and I, there wouldn't be an IWE. So,
right. Yeah, he's a good talent. You could just always tell. Like first time I saw him, he had a head on his shoulders for wrestling. You know.
Then I'll give a short shout out to the Goodman Detective Agency, Chuck Hammer and Bojack. Those two are pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching them.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. Now what, excuse me. Is there a moment that has happened in previous IWE shows that you are most proud of? An angle, a storyline, and it doesn't even have to be one that you necessarily had input in.
Oh, let's see. You know, I'm old, so you'll have to excuse that I don't remember every single thing we've ever done. But
oh, no problem.
But you know, the thing I'm proudest of isn't even an angle. It's the times we've been able to help things like Relay for Life.
Oh, nice.
or have benefits for people.
Okay.
That's the happiest moment that I can think of in our show's history.
So what if
Like
so?
that.
So what did you do? You just had a show that all the proceeds went to those charities, or
Yeah, like we'd have shows for Relay for Life where we'd go there and just run it for free, and it would help them earn proceeds for the relay. Which another fun fact is, for years I worked as an employment coach, where I would take people that had barriers to employment and teach them job skills and monitor them in the workforce to make sure they could integrate into society.
Oh, nice.
okay.
So so that's really holds a close place to me, is doing things like that.
Okay.
How about a couple matches? Like if I'm out there, zooming around on the internet, are there any matches that stick out? That you can check out from IWE?
Let's see. Brody and Braun is a good one.
I've seen that. That is good.
That's probably a highlight one for you guys to look at.
Okay, great. IWE, that's Imperial Wrestling Entertainment, right?
Yes.
Because I mean, I know it is, but I think we've just been saying IWE. I don't think we've spelled it out,
Now, as a booker, I mean, let's say that let's just keep it to local talent. If there was somebody that who would be like a dream guy on the local scene for you to bring into the IWE?
I can't think of one I'd bring in right now.
Really? Okay.
Well, here's the thing about me. Me and John are complete opposites when it comes to the way we approach the business. John is like the nicest guy you'll ever see. He'll see you, he'll say, "We'll bring you in, join us, you're part of the family." And I'm more like, "What's this guy going to do to stab us in the back?" Like, seriously, me and him butt heads on that a lot, because he wants to trust everyone and I don't want to trust anybody.
That's a good thing, though, because you need that counterbalance.
Yeah. Just like Stone Cold Steve Austin says. DTE.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, DTA.
Yeah.
DTA, don't trust anybody, son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of DTE because I had to pay my bill earlier.
I just figured you were trying to go for don't trust everybody. There you go.
Yeah, that works too.
There you go.
Pre-COVID, or China virus, Wuhan virus.
Yeah.
How often were you guys running?
We run once a month.
Once a month?
Yep, until that happened, and then we missed a few months, and now we're gonna try this outdoor one and see how it goes.
Oh, okay. So
hopefully it don't thunderstorm on us.
So the once a month, that was kind of really like your TV show, and then that was your once a month, or did you do a TV show and then, like a house show, like an event?
It's always once a month.
Okay.
We used to split it up though. We'd record a longer show and we'd put half out one time and then half out another time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it would look like it was more than one show.
Yeah, sure.
So what is the last show that you guys actually did before this Saturday?
Oh, geez. It's been a good long while.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's been so long because I'm old.
Will this be the first outdoor show that you guys have done?
It's not the first outdoor show. Relay for Life, we did a couple of outdoor shows, but I think it might be the first outdoor at Artesia.
Okay. I hope it doesn't rain either, or I'm going to have to hit up the promoter for some extra cash. Just kidding.
Are there any extra precautions that you're taking? I mean, obviously there's some, but being an outdoor show and
it was February.
It was February?
February 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if we mentioned this in the beginning, but I think this is where Race was going. precautions as far as the fans go this Saturday?
Yes, it's all the standard precautions. We're going to have this set up for distancing. There's going to be masks required. I actually bought a digital thermometer so I can check all the wrestlers' temperatures, so I know no one's going to be in the ring giving everyone COVID. Yeah.
I can't believe I got to wear a mask. BS. You didn't tell me that
you're
before.
all set, Mad Dog. You're COVID compliant right now as we speak.
Yeah, you got a mask on already.
I don't know if you can see this, but we do have the spittle glass in between us.
Yeah, we are COVID compliant as well.
It's still wonderfully machined. I can't believe that.
It is.
Huh.
So let's talk about the show a little bit. Now, did Jeff Klaus was he one of the original members of the IWE?
Yes.
Okay. So
Jeff
he was
Klaus,
right. He was right there from the get go. Huh?
Yeah, Jeff Klaus was a good friend of mine. Believe it or not, me and him, pretty much, he was to Jason what I am to John.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Right.
The counterbalance to the company.
Okay. All right. I just didn't know if he came along later or if he was right there from the inception of the IWE.
Most of the people that started in IWE when we first started came from MWO. We talked to Jason ahead of time, and he gave us his blessing to use his guys. So very few of our wrestlers at the beginning were not from MWO.
Okay.
There might have been a handful that weren't, but.
Okay.
So you guys just had to have like a handshake agreement not to schedule over each other's shows?
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that anyway.
Right.
That would just be rude.
Yeah. It's a good way to start a fight too.
Yeah.
So thus far, you've never really ran into any issues as far as that goes. Then.
No, I like I said, I wouldn't do that to him. I mean,
okay.
He was one of the people that had faith in me getting into his ring and didn't think that I was going to be old and hurt people. So I wouldn't do anything to hurt him.
Okay. So just a preview of, I mean, we touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but just a preview of what people might see on Saturday. I mean, you did mention that it's a co-promoted event between Imperial Wrestling Entertainment and the Michigan Wrestling Organization. We did mention that we will be there in some capacity as well. What can people look forward to? I mean, I know it's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you want to finish what you were saying, go ahead.
I was just going to say. I mean, it's the circumstances for this show obviously are not great, but still, it'll be a nice way to give Jeff Klaus a tribute from everybody that knew him and cared about him and
there's a lot of
worked with him and So I know the circumstances are not great for this show, but what could people look forward to from this show?
For the show, first it's gonna be safe. We're taking all the precautions we can. Please don't come if you have COVID.
Yeah, that's a good one to put out there.
But this whole show is just we want Jeff to look down and see that we haven't forgotten him. So that's what this is for. This is for Jeff. And I'll give you a little hint for the people that were thinking about not coming to the show. Come to the show, because there are going to be some severe changes that will make this IWE, Imperial Wrestling Entertainment, will never be the same again after this show.
What are some of the key matchups aside from the honorary battle royal for Jeff Klaus?
John Campbell is facing against Big Chuck Hammer.
Nice.
Now, for people that don't know, they've been feuding for a while. Chuck Hammer took John out for a little while. Did he not?
And he plans to do it again.
Okay.
Are there any stips, or is that just a one-on-one match?
It's going to be, I think this one's going to be an anything goes match. I don't think there's much we could do to contain those two once they go at it.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the size of them.
Yeah, they're big boys.
What ref's going to get between them?
I volunteer him.
Yeah, I will.
Then Mike Goodman, who we talked about earlier, is having a match against Jared, the former ref of Imperial Wrestling Entertainment. And nobody knows what the stipulations of that are. Mike Goodman sent Jared a contract. I guess Jared signed it, and it's supposed to be announced whatever Mike Goodman decided to put in that contract that Jared agreed to. Hopefully you read it first.
So that's a referee taking on a
wrestler match, or right?
He's wrestled once or twice.
Okay.
He I guess him and Brody have been Brody's been training him together because for some reason he has a grudge against Mike Goodman. I don't know what Mike Goodman ever could have done to him, but
right, exactly. I never understood. I never understood all the animosity that people have for Mike Goodman either. I can't wait to see him on Saturday. My friend.
I mean, usually you try to be nice to people that have money.
Exactly.
Okay. Any other matches to announce here?
I know that there is a match for the title, and it is JJ Hughes. Give me a second to look some stuff up, because I don't think they announced all the people that are going to wrestle him.
Oh, okay.
I think they said that it was going to be him, and they announced some other people, but
okay. Well, in lieu of that, what about tickets? Are they just kind of walk up?
Yeah, it's just come watch. We're not charging for this show.
Oh, okay.
It's a tribute to Jeff.
All right.
I wouldn't feel right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
So are you expecting a pretty big crowd then? I mean, I'm sure like your fans have been chomping at the bit to get back and see some IWE action.
The only thing that might slow down our crowd would be COVID, if people are afraid of that.
Right.
But if our normal crowd comes, I expect the backyard to be packed.
Nice.
Well, the front lot, because we're doing it in front.
Okay.
Yep.
That's perfect. I know I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I definitely am as well. Is there anything else?
Oh,
yeah.
Another match. Braun has an open challenge.
I'm sorry, who?
So Jacob Braun.
Okay.
Has an open challenge issued to whoever wants to face him at our next show.
Is that including people out of the crowd, like old school?
I'm not sure. all I know is what he said is he wanted to do. So
nice.
We'll see who he brings out.
Oh, by the way, I mean, you mentioned it, but can you run down all of your current champions right now? I meant to ask you this in the beginning.
The Dean Boys are the tag champs.
And they are going to be taking on the Cream Street Mafia, I believe.
Cream Street Mafia, yes.
Okay.
I don't like the Dean Boys' chances against that size advantage.
I would agree with you, but I have seen them. They're pretty scrappy. They're pretty wiry, and they are capable of pulling off an upset.
Well, they beat two big guys to get the belts. So
who did they beat for the belts?
They beat.
I forgot.
Goodman Detective Agency.
So they beat Mike Hammer and Mighty Bojack?
No, it was Bojack, and at the time, Sam Hex was the title holder.
Okay. So back to the champions.
And then JJ Hughes is the main title holder.
Okay.
For the heavyweight. And the Gladiator title, I believe, is Corey Kerr right now.
Okay. All All right, excellent.
And of course, Mike Goodman has his title.
And what title is that for the people that are unfamiliar?
Well, he calls it the strap of affluence, but it's a belt.
Yes, it is a beautiful title. It is a beautiful belt. And how did he obtain that title?
He's never said. Everyone else says that he bought it, but he's never said.
So there was no tournament in Rio de Janeiro or anything like that.
If I recall, there was like a ceremony where a guy came to the ring and presented it to him.
Oh, okay.
On a silver platter.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, hey, people have gotten titles like that before over the years, many a time. So, nobody can besmirch Mike Goodman for having that belt.
Sounds like this Goodman guy is a man of many means, but he sounds like he could be a weasel as well. But I guess we'll find out on Saturday.
We'll see. See what all he put in that contract.
Yeah, I am definitely interested in seeing that. We're about to wrap it up here. So, is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off here?
Just I look forward to seeing everybody. Should be a great show. Come out and see it, and I believe it starts at 3 p.m.
Yep. Okay. It is 3. So again, free show, outside, wear a mask, social distance. What else have we covered? I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, don't get in the ring. Don't get in the ring if you're a fan.
Yeah, don't ever do that.
Yeah, bad things can happen.
There's many videos online that can show you why you should never do that. There was one other thing. I don't know, but they can go to the either Imperial Wrestling Entertainment Facebook page to check it out if they didn't get all the information from us. So
yes.
Okay, well, we will see everyone ourselves there. We're looking forward to being there ourselves, and I'm really looking forward, like I mentioned, to seeing my good friend Mike Goodman there myself. So, anyway, thank you, Dennis, for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Great
job. Thank you for having me.
And we will see you this weekend.
Yes.
All right. Take care. So,
well, that was nice of Dennis to join us. That's going to be like
it's
going to be a long haul for us to go up there.
Yeah, it is.
Not really long, but to some people it is. But
yeah,
it's the wrestling business.
Exactly. So once again, Grace Beemer will once again be donning the referee stripes, and if anybody wants to make the trek up there, come check us out. I will be there as well. I don't know exactly what I will be doing yet, but I will be there too.
I'm sure there'll be some capacity where you'll be busting somebody's head.
Well, I'm definitely going to. Yeah, I will definitely try. No matter what, I will be doing something. So, all right. Thanks everybody that tuned in, and just keep checking the Butch Blood Facebook page for future updates for future Wrestling Tonight, and we'll see everybody next time. Yeah.
Captain Carnage, Dr. Tweed, The Mask, Miss Linda and Adrian Street, the Human Bomb Shelter, Jake the Snake, ask Mad Dog DeCurso if it's real or fake.